Sports Radio 95.9 The Fan.
Welcome back to the Nach on Sports podcast. We're talking with Priscilla Seitz, local female bodybuilder competitor. She will be competing at the national level next week in Miami. Very impressive what she's done in almost, a 9-month period. Talking about being on that stage, let's talk about that a little bit. The prep that goes into that is probably 75% of the work, but then going on stage and trying to convince the judges, that's tough. What was it like being on that stage, and what do you have control over in terms of what the judges see? Because like I said, for our listeners, how do they judge? What are they looking for? How do you score? You're putting your hands in, I'm guessing 3 judges or...
There's a panel of judges.
Okay, panel of judges. Okay.
So it differs every show. You'll see faces you've seen before. I've gotten to know some judges and meet them and talk with them. So that's been really great too. And standing on stage my first show, there's no words to describe. Really, I can't just really tell you the amount of emotions that were all running through me, and I just had so much fun, and the reward, like you said, is it's just overwhelming. And I strongly inspire and tell others, like, if you're thinking about it, just do it, because there's no other feeling in the world when you're standing on that stage and you can say, I did this, I made it. And when you're in front of the judges, they look for stage presence. One other aspect that people are like, oh, you just train, you just diet. No, standing on stage is a whole nother world as well. You have to pose. I have about a half hour to an hour posing practice, and every night at least practicing my walk 1 or 2 rounds, or practicing my poses in between sets. Depending what division you're competing in, the judges will look for certain specific things that, they want in standing and comparisons next to the other girls. You want to look comfortable on stage. You want to have that stage presence, but you have to squeeze your muscles. You have to be showing off, what you're supposed to in your own division, but also looking natural at the same time. So it's very difficult to be up there and you're nervous, you're shaking, and you have to show them like, no, I belong up here. Like, I want this, I earned this, and you have to hit your poses on target. Some judges call your turns faster than other judges, and you have shortened time to hit your poses. So it's a whole different world every show as well.
We're here with Priscilla Seitz, female bodybuilder competitor. You can check her out on Twitter, PSeitz Design, and on Instagram, PSeitz19. And we're talking about what she's getting ready to do. She's getting ready to prep for the Nationals next week in Miami. And she's talking about posing, and that's funny that you say it takes about an hour. Usually I take about an hour to pose myself, get ready for all my dance moves that I might go to the club with, but it never works out. At least it works out for you. It never works out for me. It never looks as good as when I'm in the mirror when I go out on the dance floor. It never works out that way. But seriously though, I mean, when you're posing, obviously I'm going to assume, you tell me if I'm wrong, you guys, from what I've seen in your shows, it's bikini style when you're being judged, right?
Well,
in terms of your outfit that you're wearing.
Yes, we wear our competition suit.
Right, a competition suit.
So we don't call them bikinis.
No bikini.
They're competition suits. They're custom made. You can get pre-ordered ones. They're very, very expensive. My first one was $485.
Wow, that's a pretty penny.
Yes. So people don't also realize the amount of money that goes into prepping for a show. You have your food weekly, you have your training sessions, your gym membership, your coach that you pay for as well. And then also when it comes showtime, you've got your suit, you have your hotel room, your registration fee. To be able to compete in NPC, you have to have an NPC card, which is also $120. So every show differs registration fee. Like Nationals is a little more since it is Nationals. And my registration fee alone was $300.
Wow, that's a hefty penny.
Yes, it's very, very crazy.
Do you have sponsors?
I did get sponsored. My company, Victory Casino Cruises, sponsored me this round. I wasn't very active in getting sponsors at first. I was just doing it on my own, and then once it started getting expensive, I'm like, man, like I need to get some help here.
Need some sponsors here.
And so I was very grateful that my company sponsored me, because that was another factor debating to help me get to Nationals, being it's going to be so expensive. And I was very grateful that they gave me my sponsorship. And you can get sponsored by supplement companies. You can get sponsored, for cheerleading. I was always doing, things to be able to go to competition in our football games. And so I know the routine of it, but I just hadn't applied it to bodybuilding yet. And now that I'm getting more into the sport and learning about the sport, I definitely have been reaching out and, writing to companies and the ones I like that I usually use their protein, or, you want to be able to get sponsored by those that
the things that you use.
Exactly. So definitely writing sponsorship letters to either get a one-time donation or to be able to be sponsored by them to be their spokesmodel, and what comes with that, most of the time they'll send you a monthly little package and you get to try new supplements that they have, and or they'll send you their t-shirts and you get to promote them as well. So it's not just them sponsoring you and sending you, but also you promoting their company and helping them get out as well.
Like I said, guys, if there's anybody listening out there right now that's a business owner and wants to sponsor Priscilla, like I said, you can follow her on Twitter, get in contact with her there. My final question to you, when was that moment, because every athlete has it, that you realized, you put in all this hard work and there you have a roadblock, and it takes a little bit of time, but you finally get over that hurdle and you're like, push the rest of the way and you're going to make it. When was that moment for you?
For nationals, it was actually last week. I had
so not that recent.
Yeah, not that far away. Because I was training and prepping, doing the same things, and adding all those extra things I needed to work on. So I was still going through the motions. And last week, it hit me hard. It was really rough. I was struggling, and like I said, I was like, why am I doing this? But then I had got done with my cardio. I went and posed. I sat down and I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like, I'm here. I'm actually doing this. Like, I am doing this, and I've overcome so much already. And I've gotten little messages all week from people that I haven't talked to in forever too, and they've just been Facebooking me or texting me, calling me, asking me if I'm okay, how am I feeling, like, you look great, like, I can't believe you've done what you've done, and it's very motivating, and it's helped me so much to have that support system that behind you. I definitely hit me, my coach, I had to pose for him last week, and at first, he was iffy about me going to nationals. He didn't know if I had the mass, and judges look for different things. They could look for the mass, the conditioning. You never know. And so I had posed for him, and he had told me, how we said that since you got your sponsorship, we were just let's just go. We're gonna chance it. You got this, and you wanted to do it. You've been prepping for it. Like, let's do this. And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, you look like you belong up there now, and you are here. Like, I really strongly feel that you can compete and do very well on national stage. And once he just gave me those words, I just wanted to break down in tears. I was just like, oh my God, like, because I knew like my body was there, but to hear that from your coach and to think going into it like, well, we're just gonna, we're gonna go and for the experience, we got the money, you've got your training that you've been working hard for, and to hear him tell me I look like I belong on the national level stage, it definitely hit me hard. And I was like, all right, this week, I got this. I'm giving everything to the T, down to the last drip of sweat for national stage, and I really have. I've given everything the past, not just the past prep, but especially these last few weeks honing into the show. There's, I'm tired at the end of my workout. I still have abs. I still have an hour of cardio, or, intervals or whatever it may be, and I just focused. I got some inspiration to just focus on each hour to hour, not everything I had, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do this. So focusing on every hour, what I need to get done, and really strengthening that certain thing I need to get done within that hour has helped me a lot. So I definitely am excited, and peak week is coming. So peak week's the most important part of prep, and I'm very, very excited to see what changes I've made on stage once I get to see pictures. And you never really realize your changes. You see your body every day.
Right.
So once you get on stage and you see the differences, and you're like, wow, like, this is just crazy what I've been able to do and accomplish, and it's very, very rewarding.
hearing that, it just makes you want to go out and work out yourself and try to, set your own goals. It really does. I mean, seriously, and that's important. Like what you talked about with your coach, telling you that, once again, let me reiterate, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I know you're going to kick butt next week at Nationals. Before we wrap up the show, I got a lightning round. Get to know you a little bit more. First thing that comes to the top of your head, question number 5, favorite muscle group to work out?
So my favorite muscle group has changed a little bit. It used to be legs, and I actually very much enjoy back.
Really?
Yes, I have been able to build my back, and I take pride in it. And it's everyone says that's your moneymaker when I'm on stage. I definitely love training back, and I've learned to connect mind and muscle when you're training. You need to be able to focus on those muscle groups, and I've been able to learn each muscle on my back now and what I need to focus on and train.
Question number 4, the hardest muscle to work. Now, I've heard it's the calves, but you tell me, which one is it the hardest one to work?
That's funny you say that, because my coach had told me I need to do calves every other day, and he always makes jokes because his calves are small too, so we'll bicker back and forth and about calf training. But hardest muscle group to work, physically and mentally has changed to legs. And I used to enjoy, leg training, and not that I don't enjoy it now, but having to lift heavier and to really mentally overcome the push of those last few ones. And legs definitely is the hardest, because that's the most that I have to do, and to be able to build and be where I need to be for stage.
Question number 3, your favorite Thanksgiving dish, since Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
So I love Thanksgiving. Of course, everybody should. And it's funny. I like the bread.
The bread.
You get Hawaiian rolls. You can have, there's so many different breads. Or I also love sweet potato casserole, which I get sweet potatoes now as part of my carbs in training, but you don't get to have all the cinnamon sugar, the brown sugar,
all the good stuff.
The marshmallows melted on top. That's probably definitely one of my faves.
Question number 2. What is the number 1 song that you work out to on your iPod?
So my pump up song recently in the past few preps has been One Republic, Love Runs Out. The beat, that's my get to going song. The beat goes on, and then it's all about keep going till your love runs out. And with bodybuilding and physical fitness, you can always improve yourself.
Right.
You can always keep going, and if you have that passion and you don't lose that passion, that song definitely gets me going.
And the number 1 question in the lightning round, favorite meal. This is a tough question for you, I know.
This is so tough. We get our refeed days, our cheat meals, and I never know what I want. I never ever know what I want. And so I definitely love the sweets. So I definitely Oreos.
I hear it called Adele's Freeze very soon. I hear it called an Oreo Freeze. Vanilla ice cream maybe?
Yes. I actually have the pumpkin spice ones and the caramel apple ones that are in my pantry. I've been saving to have it post show. But I mean, I'm not that picky. I love food and trying new different foods as well. My favorite go-to refeed meal is downtown Melbourne, the burger place.
The Burger Inn.
Yes.
Okay.
Burger and fries definitely hits the spot.
You can't beat it. You can't beat a burger and fries.
Yep.
Alrighty, Priscilla. Well, that's going to do it all the time we have here on the Knock on Sports podcast. I want to thank Priscilla Seitz once again for coming on the podcast with me and telling us about her career and her move to bodybuilding circuit. And like I said, you can follow her on Twitter at psitesdesigns or on Instagram, psites19. Like I said, she always has updates about what she's doing, how her prep work is going for the show. And I am sure we'll see some pictures of your show next week in Miami, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. I am clearing my phone this weekend, so I have space. And definitely going to take as many pictures as I can. I actually have a photo shoot the Sunday after this time with the editor-in-chief of Drop Dead Fit magazine. He's coming, and so I'm very excited about that, and I'm very excited to get going and to be there and the whole stage experience. I'm definitely excited.
Alrighty, well, Priscilla, once again, thank you for coming on. I'm hoping that we can do this again post nationals. Hopefully, we can get the results and talk to you a little bit about the experience. So, we look forward to that. And like I said, guys, you can follow me. I'm gonna try and post some pictures. Hopefully, Priscilla can send them to me when she gets a spare moment during nationals. I'll try and post them on my podcast page, or at the very least, post them on my Twitter and my Instagram, and share those with you guys. Because, like I said, she's got a great story, and she's a local person from the Space Coast doing something great on a national stage in Miami. And guys, like I said, thanks again for tuning into the Nach on Sports podcast. You can follow me at Nach on Sports 959. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their week.